Welcome to the Writer's Studio. I'm your host, Eila Algood, and I'm pretty excited today because we have Braden Savage here from the University of Hawaii at Hilo. And Braden is going to share some of his written work, as well as have a little talk story at the end of that, so that we can get to know his process a little bit better. So let's say welcome to Braden.
All right, thanks, Eila. So today I'm going to read two different pieces. Both of them are flash fiction. I'm just going to jump right into it to begin with. So this first piece is called He Tries. Go quick, string fling fly. Don't now. What of? Beast family. Simple best. Hard head. No summer. Peace grime, under sweat. Work, ever. See toes, see dad, see mom. Blood, sweat. Make up, cover up. Don't cry, always here, always loving. Indoor pool, jump hard, bent eye. Am I? You're not. I live? Daren't not. Into lot, doesn't know, black eyes, just don't. Will he? Call mom. Where's dad? Downhill running. Where's he? Don't ask. How are you? Mom, don't. Why not? I'm trying. I try. Mom, please. Does he? She snorts. No, dear. He tries. He does. He's there. He's where? Please come. No, dear. She cracks. Phone snaps. Wind blorts. Rustle door. Gristle tack. Uphill doors. Praying mayors. Brown stars. Shell floor. Sweepers shaking. Won't drink? Won't move. Come, dear. Don't. Just. He sits. Blue eyes. Hazel nose. Crackling fingers. Smoke mouth. Dry beard. Crypt cheek. Blastered bones. He tries. Dear, come. We're closed. Don't move. What now? Don't move. We're closed. You're fine? Don't seem? Don't. Nate. Don't bad. Stand up. Work now. That's it. You're out. You drive? That car? That's nice. Very far? Go home. Kiss wife. Kiss kids. They're well. They're grown? Say hi. He drives, moving uphill, searching weeds, musing bottles. He's unoriginal. Where's Dearie? She's left. Open door. She presses. Iron mallet. Please, water. She leans. Please, life. Tub fills. He's downhill. He's left. Please, silver. Arc foothill. Thigh pouches. Water grains. White eyes. Please, clouds. She drops. She calls. He tries. And I'm going to read a second piece now, also flash fiction, and this one is called The Drive-In Argosy. The front of the drive-in Argosy had sad eyes, and a sailor's rope formed crescent sad lips. The captain stood at its prow and was drinking a bottle of poison. Why do you drink that stuff? The deckhand asked. He stood beneath the ship and was watching the captain in disbelief. You surely can't steer if you can't see where you're going. Nonsense, cried the captain. I can see everywhere I'm going. This is good juice. It dulls the senses. The deckhand nodded, but he didn't agree, and he went back to fixing the rope in front of the ship so it looked as sad as possible. When the first passenger arrived, she saw that the ramp to the ship had already been lowered, so she rolled her one piece of luggage up the steep bridge and onto the empty white deck. She smiled, as if she had been greeted by a waiter. In his chambers, the captain sat on a cot made of bar stools and was downing another round of poison, when the deckhand walked in and scolded him again. Captain, you certainly must sober up, he said. Our first passenger has arrived, and you wouldn't want her to see you in a mess. Nonsense, huffed the captain, swaying as he wiggled himself to his feet. Every passenger can appreciate a tipsy captain because he is relatable and knows what it's like to be perplexed. The deckhand shrugged and walked out of the chambers. The passenger had found her room and was staring at the wall when there was a knock at the door. "Certainly, come in," she cried. "I was only trying to make myself weep. How asymmetrical this room is." Through her door peeked her roommate, who had just boarded, and who seemed altogether displeased at having to share a room with a philosopher. "I say, you're sitting too near my bed," the roommate said, and pulled in a suitcase shaped like an elephant. "You'll get your thoughts on it." "Well, my bed is where it is," the first passenger said, and left the room, thinking that her new friend was altogether disagreeable. An hour later, the ramp was drawn up, and the drive-in Argosy departed from the dock. The deckhand entered the bridge and found that the captain had died at the wheel. "Oh, look now," said the deckhand. "Captain, you certainly won't be able to steer us straight like this." The deckhand took the wheel himself, and there was a knock at the door. One of the passengers let herself in and asked the deckhand where the bathrooms were. "Do I look like a tour guide?" the deckhand cried. "If you can find a bathroom, you may use it. If you can't, you may not." He slammed the passenger out of the room and listened to her weep as she struggled down the hall. The deckhand took a sip from the captain's bottle of poison, and he thought about how pleasant and vexing it was to have people bothering to ask him where things were. Once the ship was out at sea, the deckhand, wearing the captain's hat, walked out on the prow, where he met the woman whom he had shooed from the bridge earlier. Feeling quite jolly to be out on the water and to have so much control over where he wanted to be, the deckhand addressed the woman. "Have you found the bathrooms yet?" he inquired between swigs of poison. The woman shook her head and gazed at her feet. "I wish I hadn't boarded now," the woman said. "I can't go anywhere at all." The deckhand laughed and gulped from his bottle. The woman gazed at him and frowned. "Captain," she said, "you shouldn't be drinking that. You need to steer us straight." "Nonsense," cried the deckhand. "I can see everywhere I'm going." And that's it.
Well, thank you. They were so different. I really appreciate the different. I mean, you called them both flash fiction, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, the first one uh, evoked a fair bit of emotion in me as I was listening, although I feel like I'd have to read it 20 times to because it was so potent. It was very poetic for me. Every word had meaning, and they were grouped in a particular way. Um, can you say what inspired you for that first piece?
Yeah, so with He Tries, honestly, I was getting fed up with myself, because I felt like my writing was all turning out the same, and it wasn't really taking any risks, and I was overthinking everything. So I was just on the couch one day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write something where I'm absolutely not analyzing anything that I'm putting down onto the page. I'm just going to, I'm gonna pull these images, and just like set them down as they are. I'm not gonna say, this is a good image and this is a bad image. I'm just gonna sort of bleed it all out and see what it looks like after that. So, yeah, I guess wanting to just take a break from overthinking everything, trying to be perfect,
That yeah,
you know.
that is an issue for many of us, and at different times. And I love what you say about just getting the thoughts and the pictures on the page without that editing, without that editor brain saying, "Oh, I don't know if that's good for this piece, or is it or even trying to make it into a story." I just love the way it sat there for me. It was different. Certainly different than the second piece, which read like a beautiful little story. Um, and that created different kinds of imagery for me. Um, so You are a student at Hilo. What are you studying?
I'm currently majoring in English here at Hilo. I've earned my creative writing certificate. So English is my main direction, I guess, but I also love the performing arts. I've taken, actually this last semester, I took a directing class, so I had an opportunity to direct a short play that I wrote. And I also have been taking quite a few classes in the communications department, so
Well, there's such
interpersonal.
a wonderful interconnection, of course, with all the arts, right? Um,
Mhm.
but I think when you come to the performing arts from a writer's perspective, it just makes it a deeper, richer uh, potential experience, whether you're the performer or the writer or both. So I see one of those one-man plays for you.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I think that, you know, being a storyteller as a writer, you enter the performing arts, and it's just as valid a form of storytelling as writing. And,
Yeah.
it's portraying the story physically almost instead of just on the page. So yeah, both very powerful.
Right, and also having to condense it in a way that you can get it across on a stage when maybe the story is much grander than that, but you need to
Certainly.
figure out how to make it potent on the stage. Very
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah. And have you been writing a long time? Like when did you start to think, you know what, I want to do this more?
Yeah, so I have been writing for a while. I didn't start writing seriously until I was probably around 14. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to be a director. So I was interested in film. After doing a few experiments on my own, though, I started to figure, with writing, you don't need a giant crew in order to tell a story. You just need yourself to get the story across. Yeah.
And do you have any thoughts about where you want to go with your writing?
Ideally, I would like to publish novels eventually. I know that's one of the difficult career paths out there, but it's what calls me, and I want to take that chance to,
I think
yeah,
that's the
pursue that.
important, yeah, you bring up a really important part about knowing what's true and what calls you versus what you
Mhm.
think is the right thing to do, or what maybe you could make more money at this, or whatever those other motivations are. I am never called to write a novel because I get bored after a few pages. So I know that's not calling me today. It could next year. You never know. So being open to hear that, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, throughout my experiences, so many times I tell someone, well, this is what I want to do, and they're like, yeah, that's really neat, but you need to put food on the table as well. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I will be putting food on the table, just just
There-
in unconventional.
Yeah, there's many ways to make it all happen, especially with a positive attitude, which you seem to have plenty of that. So, Braden, I want to thank you for stepping up and stepping out like this and sharing your work with us, and also for the work you're doing as leading the writers group for the Hawaii Writers Guild. We appreciate that. And I want to
Of
let
course.
people know who are watching this, if they want more information, you can find it on the Hawaii Writers Guild .com website. And also there's a Facebook page, Hawaii Writers Guild. And till next time, aloha.
All right, thanks, Isla.